Oh, you were ready.
Okay, quiet on set. Can you tell us about the first time that you two met?
Sure. The first time I met Kim was when she brought Callie over to our home because our daughters were filming together. The two of us went downstairs to the family room while our daughters were upstairs laughing and filming and doing who knows what. I had forgotten how great it was to meet someone in the club because when our daughter was little, we went to some of the Champs programs, and you know, after she was 5, 6 and older, then it was like years and years and years, and I hadn't met another mom, so it was just a treat to be able to get right back
And we sure did.
We
got in trouble more than once for being loud on set.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, they came down more than once, Callie and Alexis.
I'd forgotten that.
We kept talking and talking.
But we laughed, and we also cried.
We did. We were trying to be really quiet too, quiet crying.
I had found out that day that although Alexis was born before, there was a lot of prenatal testing, and so her arm difference was a complete surprise when she was born. Kim was telling me that based on amniocentesis or ultrasound, they knew Callie's arm was different and had given her an option about the birth. And I guess when I heard our kids laughing, these beautiful, vibrant young women, I just kind of lost it for reasons that all mothers would understand. And again, it was just a bond that you have.
Yeah, they were like, if you wanted to terminate this birth, you need to do it right away because we're within some kind of weeks. It hadn't even occurred to me. So yeah, and now looking, you think, oh my gosh. And I can't tell you how many times our local rehabilitation hospital has a limb difference group, and they have contacted us to come because there are families that are considering it. And so they just want them to, I know, yeah. And so they do want them to just sometimes meet Callie or meet other kids and just to see. I think people are really afraid of the unknown.
I agree, right? Absolutely. So, I guess if we were communicating, it would just be to try to reduce the fear and focus on the incredible and ever-mounting joys of our kids. Anyway.
It's true, right? Yeah. They're just amazing problem solvers.
Because they've had to be?
Yeah, because they have to do some things so differently, but they do it in everything, I find, right? Like
and then they take that skill into everything else they do.
Yeah, that I really think that. Alexis said earlier today that she was surprised a lot of people who thought Callie was her daughter. And
I love that.
I know, Callie was all for it. But I said, it's interesting, so I was thinking about it after, and I'm like, yeah, because there are a lot of similarities.
Yes.
Right? There are a lot of similarities in just how their outlook on life and how they do, even just how they move. It's very similar. Alexis was watching Callie climb the wall, and she's like, I just do it the same.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so true. So, it might not be face that makes it the same, but
expression
just in life. Yeah.
Attitude.
Yeah, for sure. So, like when they're little, there's one experience, and then it goes sort of, when did it get to the point where you stopped worrying about like bullying or, things happening or even making those choices? Like when they're little, you have to make all the choices for them, and when they get older, obviously you make none. So, when did that happen?
What a great question. I think it was probably incremental.
Yeah.
I think I don't even know that I could identify it, but probably there's some kind of balance where her confidence rises and yours kind of is pulled up as well, and it just becomes less a part of the mindset, less a concern. I don't know, as a parent, if you ever stop worrying about things like circumstances where they might be either uncomfortable or at risk, but as far as worrying about the limb difference, that went away mostly around Callie's age, I suppose.
Okay, yeah. I wondered, I'm like, you know, everyone talks about those teen years. I mean, she just started middle
Yes,
school, right?
yes,
So I
of
have
course.
like that, you know, but.
You know, because you communicate so well, as long as she can talk with you. But my guess would be it'll be the ordinary stuff. It won't have anything to do with her arm.
Yeah.
And being, you know, a young teen is just plain hard.
Right, I know.
So I don't think we escape it. But the arm possibly will even help her.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Well, she'll definitely
So-
has been resilient already.
You
so,
bet.
Yeah.
That's who she is then, right?
Yeah, no kidding. We went to like a rope course.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was very high, and they had to balance on these little ropes, and her arm was just long enough to touch the rope, so she couldn't use her elbow. And so she's so used to using her elbow. She uses her elbow for everything, right? So she was up, you know, had her arm up like this. At one point, she's like, my shoulder's getting sore. But she was really, really struggling, and her siblings were helping, and then she didn't want their help anymore. And anyway, finally, somebody said, you know, you could quit. You could quit and you could go back to the little kid course, and we could go on without you. And that was it.
That was the wrong thing or the
so
right
she
thing?
Said, yeah, so her siblings carried on, and I just said to her, I'm like, okay, well, why don't you just try this one, and you can do it at your own speed and just decide on your own. And I've never seen her be more determined. Like, her chin literally jutted forward.
Okay, that's hard for a mom.
Oh, especially because I was 80 feet below, or whatever
my
it was,
gosh.
50 feet below, looking up like this,
Yeah.
going, you can do it.
That's hard.
Yeah.
But good for you.
She was determined. She did finish that entire course.
Why am I not surprised?
I was a little bit, but she decided.
One of the things that, and you'll relate to this, I know, I hoped when she was really, really little that there could be some things that she could do better than everybody.
Right, yes.
I don't know if I ever said that or even thought it exactly, but I wanted her to be strong in something, so if there was a trade-off. So I started her in the Kinsman, the little pool,
Right, yeah.
when she was about 18 months, and she loved the water, so that made it easy. When she was 2, and literally on her 2nd birthday, she could swim independently across the pool. So that's what
Skills.
happened. People would stop and watch, but when we were getting ready to go in, often I'd have parents coming concerned. You know, like, you must really have to keep an eye on her. Like, I think they were worried that I was trying to push her too fast. And I don't know what I said, but I no doubt said, well, just watch this. And she'd boot it across the pool, and people would come and gather and watch. So I don't know that one ever needs to ensure that they're like stronger in a certain scale, but you try. You want to give them the trade-off, and that was a great story. That was
no kidding. I
that
would have
worked.
wanted to see that. Do you have it on video?
I don't know.
It
was the 80s.
archives, right?
We didn't do
on a
videos.
giant VHS beta. It was on.
It might be. Ours started when Alexis was just over 1, and they had given us a stationary little arm, and so it went on across the shoulder and so on.
Yep.
So put it on, and she would not complain, but she would sit. She wouldn't move, and I would sit for a while, and if she started to get uncomfortable, I would take it off and she'd just boot it crawling. I don't know how many days I tried, but I didn't push it. And so that one got set aside. Later, she had a myoelectric,
Oh, yeah, okay.
which was at that time very heavy.
They still are.
Are they?
Yeah.
She would wear it on occasion because she could show people, and that was
Right.
kind of fun. But I learned that in about grade 2, she would take it to school, wear it to school because that's what we thought she should do, and then she would take it off and put it on the windowsill, have her whole day, and then put it on to come home. Once we found out that was the case, we didn't push it, and then she made her own decisions. If she wanted to play the viola in the school choir, she'd get one made. But it didn't seem to be, you know, right or wrong. It didn't seem what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we didn't.
I do think it is a journey for sure.
Yes.
When Callie was first born, they told us, they said, most of the time congenitals, they don't want any prosthetics.
did
That was the
they?
first thing they told us.
Really?
They said most kids, they're born with missing their arm. They won't wear an everyday prosthetic. They might have it for a specific tool or a specific sport or something, but most of the time they don't wear one.
Good to know.
And they said, and then most of the children who lose their limb due to accident or illness, they are more of the adopters of having the prosthetic.
Which makes sense, yeah.
And they said they thought that part of it was with the brain, right? Because your brain your brain isn't missing anything.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
Callie's not missing the hand. I mean, we say it that way, but it isn't missing. It was never there.
That's right.
So her
That's
brain
right.
doesn't think, oh, there's a hand I need to open
That
and
should
close.
be.
Her brain thinks of her arm as it is, right? And so we thought, okay, while she's young, we'll make the choice for her.
Yes.
And then when she gets older, she'll be able to make the choice better because she will have had both.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we're not force type
Sure.
of people. So we're not going to have our kid be sad, doing the process. So we did start. This was her very first
It's so tiny.
tiny arm.
so
I know.
And very pretty.
Yeah, we called it the ice cream scoop because it kind of looks like an ice cream
It really
scoop.
does.
Yeah, this was her first arm. It was supposed to be for crawling, and she was about 8 months during this process. And so she got it about 1 week after she learned to crawl without it. So she mostly used it as a chew toy and occasional weapon because it was so heavy, right? So like you had to, when she was wearing it, you had to be like, just to be ready, because you'd just be like, whoop, and
That's
take
so
out some
funny.
teeth. Her siblings helped me pick out, it's just fabric that they put underneath there.
Yes.
And her older sister was very astute, and she said, well, Mom, you want it to match more than one outfit. So I was like, oh, that's true. So we picked one that had both red and pink because we felt like red would go with kind of the primary colors. And
This
pink
is a
would go
family
with more
effort, yeah.
pastels. I know. She's always had an arm at some point, and we've always said it's a tool. So you wouldn't cut paper without scissors. You can cut paper without scissors. It's just a lot more laborious. So it's just easy to pick up a pair of scissors and cut. So we were like, sometimes it might be easier to pick up your arm and then use it.
Yeah.
And other times, if it's easier without, then to
Nice.
take it off. She always has had it on, off, on, off, on, off
Okay.
through the day. She doesn't wear it for recess. She doesn't wear it for gym class.
That's great, though.
And there's lots of times she doesn't wear it
great.
at all. So it's been, definitely a process. And there's been times where she said, no, I don't want one. And we've said, okay, that's fine.
That's beautiful.
So when the movie The Dolphin Tale came out,
Yes.
so we went to that movie, and then, Callie's like, oh, that dolphin's just like me. And I'm like, yes, you and Winter are the same. But it was funny because she said, but it's really like me, Mom, because Winter didn't really want to use her prosthetic tail, but they needed it because otherwise their back was going to break. In the movie, it's very dramatic because it's a movie, right? And so in the movie, the children are crying and they're begging, Winter, please use your tail. And it's very dramatic music. And anyway,
and Winter did?
Winter did, yes. In the movie, Winter does use the tail at the end.
Thanks, moms, for chatting. That was really, really nice.
That was nice for us too.
Thanks for bringing us back together
Yeah,
again.
for sure,
It's great to
right?
see you again. Well done.